Welcome to ZenLight 8. Ever wonder why some people leave you feeling small, unseen, or drained? What if the way they treat you isn't just a quirk? It's a red flag screaming they don't truly care. In the next few minutes, we're uncovering 8 toxic behaviors that reveal the truth about who values you and who doesn't, straight from the wisdom of Anthony Hopkins. Ready to stop settling and start seeing your worth? Let's dive in and light up the shadows together. Lack of respect. The silent erosion of your worth. Imagine this. You're sitting across from someone, pouring out a piece of your heart. Maybe it's an idea that's been simmering in your mind, a worry that's kept you up, or a boundary you've fought to set. You're vulnerable, open, trusting they'll catch what you're throwing. But instead, their eyes glaze over. They cut you off with a shrug, a smirk, or a yeah, whatever. Your words hit the floor, ignored. Your feelings? Mocked with a laugh or a you're too much. Your line in the sand? Stepped over like it's not even there. That sting you feel, it's not just hurt. It's the slow drip of disrespect eating away at the foundation of what you thought you had. Welcome to the first toxic truth. When someone doesn't respect you, they're not just disagreeing, they're showing you they don't care. Respect is the bedrock of any relationship worth a damn. It's the unspoken pact that says, I see you, I hear you, you matter. It's not about nodding along to every word or bowing to every whim. It's about honoring the space you take up in the world, the voice you bring, the lines you draw. Without it, there's no trust, no connection, no real bond, just a hollow shell dressed up as something more. But when someone dismisses your opinions, belittles your emotions, or tramples your boundaries, they're not just crossing a line. They're tearing down the walls that hold you together. They're telling you, in ways louder than words, that who you are doesn't register on their radar. And that, my friend, is a neon sign flashing. They don't value you. Let's start with the dismissal of your opinions. You've been there, right? You're in a conversation, laying out a thought. Maybe it's bold, maybe it's quiet, but it's yours. You've wrestled with it, shaped it, offered it up like a gift. And what do you get? A wave of the hand. That's dumb. Or worse, silence that screams they didn't even hear you. It's not about them disagreeing. Disagreement's fine, healthy, even. Respect isn't about consensus. It's about giving your voice a seat at the table. But when they brush you off like your words are dust on their sleeve, it's a gut punch. It's not just your idea they're rejecting. It's your right to have one. Over time, that mute button they keep hitting starts to sink in. You hesitate, second-guess, wonder if anything you say holds weight. That's not a slip, it's a signal. They don't care enough to listen. Then there's the belittling of your feelings. Emotions are messy, sure. They're the raw, beating heart of being human. You feel joy, you feel pain, you feel the whole damn spectrum, and that's your truth. So when you share it, tears in your eyes, a laugh in your throat, a knot in your chest, you're handing over something sacred. But what happens when they smirk? Oh, you're crying again? Get over it. It's not that deep. Or the classic, you're too sensitive. Suddenly, your heart's on trial. Your sadness is silly. Your anger's overblown. Your happiness is extra. They're not just shrugging off what you feel. They're stripping it bare, making you question if it's even real. Respect doesn't demand they feel the same. It asks them to hold space to say, I might not get it, but it's yours. Without that, you're left clutching a wound they won't even see, let alone heal. That's not carelessness, that's care withheld. And boundaries? That's where it gets blatant. Boundaries are your shield. Your here's where I end and you begin. They're not walls to keep people out. They're markers of your worth, your needs, your no-go zones. You set them with care. Maybe it's, don't call me late. Don't dig into that sore spot. Give me space when I ask. They're you saying, this is me, respect it. But when someone ignores them, blows past your no like it's a suggestion, prods where you said stop, takes when you said enough, they're not just rude. They're reckless with you. It's a power play. A my wants trump your limits. Every step over that line is a brick pulled from your foundation. A message that your self-respect doesn't faze them. That's not a misstep, that's a choice to disregard who you are. Think about how this lands over time. One dismissal, one jab, one crossed line. It's a scratch. But pile them up and it's a canyon. You start shrinking. Your voice gets softer. Your feelings get buried. Your boundaries blur. Why? Because they've trained you that speaking up, feeling deep, standing firm doesn't matter to them. You're not a partner, a friend, a person. You're a prop there to fit their script. And the worst part? You might not even see it at first. You make excuses. They're just blunt. They didn't mean it. I'm overreacting. But strip those away, and the truth glares back. Respect isn't optional. It's the oxygen of connection. Without it, you're suffocating while they breathe easy. That's not a relationship, that's a robbery. So why do they do it? Sometimes it's laziness, they can't be bothered to care. Sometimes it's control, they feel bigger when you're small. Sometimes it's just who they are. People too wrapped up in their own orbit to see yours. But here's what matters. It's not your job to fix it. You don't have to beg for respect, twist yourself into knots to earn it, or prove you're worth it. You are worth it, your voice, your feelings, your lines. A person who cares doesn't need convincing, they show it. They listen when you speak. Hold your emotions gently. Honor your boundaries like they're sacred. That's not a favor, that's the baseline. Anything less, and they're showing you the door they've already halfway out of. Take a step back and look at your life. Who's muting you? Who's mocking your heart? Who's walking over your limits like they're nothing? That sting you feel, it's not weakness. It's wisdom waking up. Respect isn't a gift you plead for. It's a right you claim. You deserve to be heard, to feel without shame, to set lines that stick. Don't settle for a connection that crumbles under disrespect. It's not worth the dust it leaves behind. Walk toward the ones who see you, who value you, who prove it with every nod, every pause, every step they don't take past your line. That's where care lives. That's where you belong. Consistent absence. The echo of indifference. Now shift the scene. You're in a tough spot. Life's heavy. Maybe a loss hit hard, or you're just frayed at the edges. You reach out. A call, a text, a quiet, I need you. You're not asking for a hero, just a hand, a voice, a sign someone's there. But what comes back? Nothing. Silence stretches. Excuses pile. Too busy. Forgot to reply. Next time. Days turn to weeks, and you're still standing alone. The echo of their absence louder than any words they could have said. Welcome to the second toxic truth. When someone's consistently absent, physically, emotionally, or both, they're not just missing. They're telling you you're not worth showing up for. Presence is the heartbeat of care. It's not about fireworks or grand rescues. It's the quiet power of being there. A friend who sits with you in the dark. A partner who listens when your voice shakes. A simple, I'm here, when the world's not. It's the glue that holds relationships together. The proof that you're not invisible. But when someone's always gone, when they vanish just when you need them most, it's not a fluke. It's a pattern, a billboard flashing. You're not my priority. Their absence isn't about their schedule. It's about their choice. And every time they're not there, it carves a little deeper. You're left holding a need they won't meet, a space they won't fill. Let's break this down because it's more than just not picking up the phone. Physical absence is the obvious one. You're struggling, you call, they're nowhere. Maybe it's a crisis. Job's gone, heart's cracked, or just a day you need a sounding board. You're not asking them to fix it. You just want them near. But they're swamped, out of town, caught up. One miss? Fine, life's messy. But when it's every time, when they're only around for the good stuff, the laughs, the easy wins, it's a neon sign. They're not there for you. They're there for the vibe. When the weight hits, they're ghosts, leaving you to carry it solo. That's not a slip, that's a statement. You don't rank. Then there's the emotional absence, the quieter killer. You felt this too, haven't you? You open up, share a fear, a hope, something that's clawing at you. You're raw, reaching, trusting they'll catch it. But the reply's flat, oh cool, that sucks. Or worse, nothing. No questions, no follow-up, just a blank wall where you needed a bridge. You're pouring out your soul and they're scrolling their feed. Or maybe you're celebrating, big win, small joy, and they barely blink. No, tell me more. No spark in their eyes. Just a nod and a pivot to their own story. That detachment stings. It's not that they don't get it. It's that they don't try. Emotional presence isn't about solving your life. It's about showing up in the moment, ear on, heart open. Without it, you're shouting into a void. Think about what this does over time. 1, absence, you shrug, busy happens. 2, you excuse, everyone's got stuff. But when it's a rhythm, when they're missing every time you lean, they're teaching you something. You stop reaching. You stop sharing. Why? Because you know the silence that's coming, the empty air where support should be. It's not just lonely, it's heavy. You're carrying your load, plus the weight of their no-show. You start wondering, am I asking too much? Am I not worth it? That's the trap. They're not there, and somehow you're the one feeling small. But flip that lens. Their absence isn't your failing. It's their choice. They're saying, everything else comes first. That's not care, that's indifference with a smile. Why do they vanish? Sometimes it's convenience. They'll show when it's fun, not when it's work. Sometimes it's cowardice, hard stuff scares them off. Sometimes it's just who they are, people too tangled in their own orbit to orbit you. But here's the raw truth. Life's demanding for everyone. We've all got chaos, deadlines, days we're stretched thin. Care isn't about having time, it's about making it. A person who values you doesn't wait for a gap. They carve one. They text back, they call, they sit with you. Not because it's easy, but because you're worth it. Consistent absence isn't a busy signal, it's a priority list, and you're not on it. Look at your own story. Who's missing when the chips are down? Who's silent when you're loudest? Whether it's pain or pride, that ache you feel, it's not neediness. It's clarity kicking in. Presence is the proof of care. Physical when you need a shoulder, emotional when you need an ear. Without it, you're not connected, you're convenient. And you're not here to be someone's sometimes. You deserve the ones who show up, rain or shine, high or low, because that's what you do for them. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the steady beat of I'm here. Anything less, and they're showing you the exit they've already taken. So what now? Don't waste your breath chasing ghosts. Don't beg for a seat at a table they won't set. Their absence is a lesson. Your time, your heart, your energy are gold. Stop spilling them into empty cups. Look for the ones who stay, the ones who answer when you call, who lean in when you speak, who stand close when you're falling. That's where care lives, not in promises, but in presence. You're worth showing up for every damn time. Let the absent fade and make room for the ones who prove it. That's not just a choice, that's your power. Pulling it together. These two, lack of respect and consistent absence, aren't just behaviors. They're windows. They show you who's really in your corner and who's just passing through. Disrespect tears at your worth. Muting your voice, mocking your heart, crossing your lines, until you're a shadow of what you could be. Absence echoes it, leaving you alone when you need a tether. Proving your place in their world is a footnote, not a chapter. Together, they're a 1-2 punch. You're not seen and you're not held. But here's the flip. Recognizing them isn't defeat. It's dawn. You don't have to stay in that ring. You're the architect here. Build with the ones who respect you, who show up, who care. That's your ground. Stand on it. Self-centeredness, the one-way drain on your soul. Imagine this. You're sitting across from someone, listening as they spill their latest saga. Work woes, a fight they had, a dream they're chasing. You nod, you ask, you pour your energy into their story like water into a parched plant. They light up, soaking it in, and you feel good, connected, useful there. But then it's your turn. You start. Maybe a rough day, a quiet win, something gnawing at you, and their eyes drift. A quick, a glance at their phone, or they flip it back to them. Oh, that reminds me. Your moment's gone, swallowed by their orbit. That's not a slip, it's a spotlight. Welcome to the third toxic truth. Self-centeredness isn't just annoying. It's a neon sign they don't care. They're here to take, not give, and you're left running on empty. Relationships are a dance. A give and take, a rhythm of mutual care. It's not about keeping score but balance. Both sides lifting, both sides leaning, both sides filling the cup. That's where connection thrives. In the exchange, the harmony, the shared air. But a self-centered person? They don't dance, they drain. They're a vacuum, pulling your time, your attention, your heart into their world, while yours sits untouched. It's not a partnership, it's a one-way street, and you're the fuel they burn without refilling. Their needs, their wants, their spotlight, it's all that registers. You're a prop, a sounding board, a pit stop on their endless road. And over time, that imbalance doesn't just tire you out, it hollows you. Let's paint this picture sharp. You've been there, haven't you? They call when they're down. Hours on the phone, you soothing, advising, holding space. You're there all in because that's what care looks like. But when your storm hits, when you're the one cracking, you dial and it's crickets. Or worse, a half-hearted, that's rough. Then a pivot. Speaking of rough, let me tell you about my day. Your struggle's a footnote. Theirs is the headline. Or maybe it's lighter. You share a win, a spark of joy, and they barely blink. No, congrats. No, tell me more. Just a shrug or a story to top yours. It's not that they miss it. It's that they don't look. Their lens is locked on them, your frame's out of focus. This isn't just frustrating. It's revealing. Care needs reciprocity, a flow both ways. A self-centered person doesn't flow, they hoard. They'll take your ear when they're venting, your shoulder when they're weak, your energy when they're dry. But flip the script, when you need the same, they're scarce. Too busy? Not my thing. Or they show up lukewarm. A token nod before the spotlight swings back. It's a transaction, not a bond. They're consumers, not companions. You're pouring into a cup that never pours back. And over time, your well runs low. You're spent, depleted, wondering why you feel so small when you've given so much. That's the trap. They don't care enough to see you're running dry. Why does this sting so deep? Because it's personal. When they take without giving, it's not just time they're stealing. It's your worth. Every unanswered need, every ignored moment whispers, you don't matter. You start bending, chasing their approval, proving your value, hoping they'll turn the lens your way. But they won't. Self-centeredness isn't oversight. It's a choice. They're not clueless. They're comfortable, happy to sip from your stream while yours trickles out. And the longer it goes, the clearer it gets. This isn't a glitch in the system. It's the system. They thrive on your giving. You wither on their taking. That's not a relationship, that's a parasite. So what's driving them? Sometimes it's insecurity, they feel bigger when you're their audience. Sometimes it's entitlement, they think the world owes them your care. Sometimes it's just who they are, wired to see only their reflection. But here's the kicker. It's not your burden to unpack. You don't have to play therapist, fixer, or endless giver to earn a crumb of their regard. Care isn't a one-sided sprint. It's a shared walk. A person who values you doesn't just take, they offer. They listen when you speak, lift when you're low, give because they see you, not just what you bring. That's not a luxury, that's the floor. Anything less, and they're showing you they're here for them, not you. Look at your life. Who's always taking? Your time, your ear, your spark, without a drop back. Who leaves you drained like you're a battery they recharge from? That ache you feel, it's not guilt. It's truth waking up. You're not a resource to be tapped dry. You're a person worthy of balance, of care that flows both ways. Don't waste your light on a black hole. Step back, see the imbalance, and ask, why am I pouring when they won't? You deserve more connections that energize, not exhaust. People who give as good as they get. That's where real care lives, not in their orbit, but in harmony. Let them spin solo and save your water for wells that fill you too. Lack of support, the void where care should be. Now shift the frame. You're standing at a crossroads. Life's heavy, maybe a dream's slipping, or a wound's fresh. You're not invincible, you're human. Reaching for a hand, a word, a sign you're not alone. You turn to someone you trust, someone you've held up before, and say, I need you. But what comes back? Nothing or next to it. A blank stare, a you'll be fine. A disappearing act when the curtain falls. You're left swaying, no anchor, no echo to your call. That's not a miss. It's a message. Welcome to the fourth toxic truth. A lack of support isn't just absence. It's abandonment. When they're not there to lift you, they're showing you your weight doesn't matter to them. Support is the pulse of connection. It's not about fixing everything. Life's too jagged for that. It's about presence, about standing in the muck with you, saying, I can't solve it, but I'm here. It's the friend who listens when you're unraveling, the partner who cheers when you're climbing, the voice that whispers, you've got this, when doubt screams loudest. That's the glue. Trust, care, understanding, holding you steady when the ground shakes. But when someone consistently fails to show up, when they leave you dangling in your hardest hours, they're not just busy. They're absent where it counts, proving through their silence that you're not worth the effort. That's not a lapse, that's a lack. Let's dig into this because it cuts deep. You felt it, right? You're down. Maybe a job slipped through, a loss hit hard, or you're just tired, and you reach out. Not for a miracle, just a tether. A how you holding up? Or a quiet sit together. But they're gone. No call back, no check-in, just a void where you needed weight. Or worse, they show but it's hollow. Suck it up, others have it worse. Or they nod and bounce, leaving you with your load. That's not support, that's a shrug. They're not there when the sky falls, only when it's clear. There for the wins, not the wars. You're not asking for a savior. You're asking for solidarity. Their absence screams, figure it out alone. It's not just the big stuff either. Sometimes it's the small daily grinds, little lifts you need. You share a goal. I'm trying this, hoping for a spark. That's awesome. Keep going. But you get a blank cool, or nothing at all. No curiosity, no push, no wind in your sails. Or you're doubting yourself, voice shaky. I don't know if I can. And they don't lean in. No, you're stronger than you think. No hand on your shoulder. Just silence or a pivot. Well, I've got my own stuff. That's the void widening. Support isn't grand gestures. It's steady presence. A lift when you're low, a cheer when you're climbing. Without it, you're not connected, you're convenient. What does this carve out of you? 1 miss, you brush off, life's hectic. 2, you rationalize, they're stretched thin. But when it's a pattern, when they're never there when you need them, it sinks in. You stop reaching. You bury the hurt. Shoulder the weight. Tell yourself, I'll manage. But that's the wound growing. You're not just alone. You're unseen. Every time they don't show, it's a brick on your back. Am I not worth it? Do I ask too much? That's the lie they plant. They're not there, and you're the one doubting your right to need. Flip that. Their lack isn't your lack. It's their choice. To leave you standing, to let you fall, to keep their hands clean when yours are dirty. Why do they flake? Sometimes it's selfishness, your mess doesn't fit their mood. Sometimes it's fear, hard stuff spooks them and they run. Sometimes it's just them, too wrapped up to unwrap you. But here's the raw deal. Care isn't conditional. A person who values you doesn't wait for easy, they wade in. They stand with you not because they can fix it, but because you matter. They lift when you're sinking, cheer when you're rising. Not out of duty, but desire. Lack of support isn't a busy signal. It's a priority call, and you're not on the line. That's not a bond, that's a blank. Scan your world. Who's missing when you're breaking? Who's silent when you need sound? That pang you feel, it's not weakness. It's wisdom. Support is the proof of care. There when you're bruised, there when you're bold. Without it, you're not held, you're hung out to dry. You're not here to carry it all solo. You're worth the lift, the lean, the I've got your back. Don't chase the ones who drop you. Look for the ones who stay, who brace you when you sway, who root when you reach. That's where strength lives, not in their absence, but in presence. Let the void teach you, you deserve more. Claim it, tying it together. Self-centeredness and lack of support, they're two sides of the same coin. Care withheld. One takes your energy, leaving you parched. The other leaves your struggles untouched, letting you drift. Together, they paint a picture. You're not a priority, you're an option. But here's the turn. Seeing this isn't surrender, it's power. You don't have to pour into bottomless pits or stand alone in the wind. You're the builder here, craft connections that give back, that hold you up. That's your right, your ground, your glow. Step away from the takers and the vanishers. Step toward the ones who see you, who stay. That's where care breathes. That's where you rise. Constant criticism. The words that cut deeper than you think. Picture this, you're standing in a room sharing something real, maybe a plan you're proud of, a step you've taken, or just a piece of who you are. You're open, hopeful, trusting the air will catch your spark. But then it comes, a sharp word, a smirk. That's never gonna work. Or maybe it's subtler. A sigh. You always do this. A jab dressed as just being honest. It lands like a stone, heavy, cold, sinking into your chest. You brush it off, tell yourself it's no big deal. But it keeps coming day after day. A drip of critique that never lets up. That's not feedback. That's a fracture. Welcome to the fifth toxic truth. Constant criticism isn't about helping you grow. It's about keeping you small. When someone's words tear you down instead of lift you up, they're showing you they don't care. Words have power, raw, wild power. They can build bridges, spark fires, mend what's broken. A kind word can pull you from the edge. A harsh one can push you over it. In a relationship, any relationship, words are the threads weaving trust, respect, connection. When they're used right, they're a gift. I see your potential. You've got this. Here's how you can shine. That's care talking, guiding, encouraging, rooting for you. But constant criticism, that's a weapon, not a tool. It's not there to shape you. It's there to shrink you. It's a barrage of negativity, never constructive, always cutting, designed to chip away at your confidence, your worth, your light. And when it's relentless, it's not a mistake. It's a message. Your growth doesn't matter to them. Let's peel this back, because you've felt it, haven't you? You share an idea. I'm thinking of trying this. And instead of curiosity or a nudge forward, you get a scoff. That's dumb. Why bother? Or you celebrate. A small win, a big leap, and it's met with a jab. Could have been better, or a sarcastic, wow, big deal. Maybe it's your quirks, your habits, your you-ness, they pick at it all. You're too loud, too quiet, too much. It's not one-off. It's a rhythm, a steady beat of not good enough. You start dodging, hesitating to speak, to shine, to be, because every step's a target. That's not guidance. That's erosion. They're not building you up, they're breaking you down, one word at a time. What's the sting here? It's not just the words, it's the intent. Real feedback, the kind that cares, comes with a hand up. Here's where you're strong, here's where you could tweak. It sees your potential, not your flaws. Constant criticism doesn't see, it slashes. It's not about your improvement, it's about their edge. Every dig is a lift for them, a way to feel taller while you're crouching. You're too sensitive when you push back. You can't take a joke when it hurts. They twist it, make it your fault, keep you doubting. Over time, it's a slow bleed. You question your ideas, your feelings, your right to take up space. That's not a slip, that's a strategy. They don't want you rising. They want you reeling. Why does it hit so hard? Because it's personal. Words aren't just sound, they're mirrors. When they're warm, you see yourself clearer, stronger. When they're cold, you see cracks you didn't know were there. Constant criticism plants those cracks. Makes you wonder if they're right, if you're less, if you're flawed beyond fixing. You might laugh it off. Toughen up. Tell yourself, I can handle it. But pile it up, and it's a weight. Your voice quiets, your shoulders slump, your spark dims. They're not just critiquing, they're controlling, keeping you small so they stay big. And the worst part? You might not clock it at first. They're just blunt. They mean well, I'm overreacting. But strip those excuses bare. Care doesn't wound. It heals. So what's behind it? Sometimes it's their own mess. Insecurity they mask by pointing at you. Sometimes it's power, they feel strong when you're weak. Sometimes it's just them, people too blind to see past their own shadow. But here's what you need to grip. It's not about you. Their words don't define your worth. They reflect their limits. You don't have to swallow the poison, prove them wrong, or shrink to fit their frame. Care doesn't tear, it tends. A person who values you speaks life. Lifts you when you're low, cheers when you're high, guides without grinding you down. That's not a bonus, that's the baseline. Anything less, and they're showing you they're here to take, not give. Look around your world. Who's always cutting your dreams, your doings, your you? Who leaves you doubting where you should be daring? That ache you feel, it's not shame, it's clarity kicking in. Words should build, not break. You're worth the kind that raise you up, not raise you down. Don't let their noise take root. Step back, hear the pattern. Ask, why am I letting this dim me? You deserve more voices that inspire, that see your light, that speak with care, not critique. That's where growth lives, not in their shadow, but in your shine. Let them talk to the wind, and save your ears for the ones who lift. That's your ground, stand on it. Betrayal of trust, the crack that shatters connection. Now shift the lens. You're sitting with someone, guard down, heart open. You've let them in, shared secrets, leaned on promises, built a bond you thought was steel. You trusted, gave them a piece of you, fragile but free, believing they'd hold it tight. But then it breaks. A promise they swore, snapped like a twig. A lie they spun, unraveling what you knew. An action that stabs where you stood safe. It's not a slip, it's a shatter. Welcome to the sixth toxic truth. Betrayal of trust isn't just a hurt, it's a reveal. When someone keeps breaking what you gave, they're not just careless. They're showing you they don't respect you or what you built. Trust is the spine of any relationship worth having. It's the quiet deal. I've got you, you've got me, the glue holding everything else up. It's not loud or showy. It's steady. Promises kept, truths told, boundaries honored. Without it, there's no foundation, just sand pretending to be stone. When you trust, you're vulnerable, handing over a key. Here's my faith. Don't turn it against me. And when it's real, it's gold. They guard it, value it, prove it with every step. But betrayal? That's the key twisted. Promises broken. Lies piled. Actions that spit on what you shared. It's not a mistake. It's a choice, and every crack says you and this don't matter to them. Let's dig in because you've been here, right? They promise? I'll be there. I won't tell. You can count on me. And you believe. Why wouldn't you? Words are weight. They're a pledge. But then they're late or gone or spilling what you swore was safe. I forgot. It slipped. It's not a big deal. One break, you forgive, people falter. But when it's a chain, promise after promise snapping, it's a pattern. You're left waiting, exposed, picking up pieces they dropped. Or it's lies. Small at first. I was busy. Then bigger, stories that don't line up. You catch it, call it, and they dodge. You're paranoid. Why don't you trust me? Flipping it back. That's not a glitch, that's a gutting. Then there's the actions, betrayal in motion. They share what you bared, cross lines you drew, choose their gain over your good. Maybe it's a confidence spilled at a party, a boundary they stomp, a move that puts you last when you should have been first. It's not accidental, it's active. Every choice is a brick pulled from your trust. A my way matters more. You feel it. The sting of I thought you'd hold this. The ache of I gave you that. It's not just disappointment. It's a wound, deep and jagged. Because trust isn't cheap. You gave it, they broke it, and now you're questioning not just them, but you. Why did I let them in? What's the fallout? 1. Betrayal, you wince, repairs possible. 2. You waver, doubt creeps. But when it's relentless, when the cracks keep coming, it's a collapse. You pull back. Stop sharing, stop leaning, stop believing. Why? Because you know the fall's next. Every lie, every broken word, every back turned builds a wall. Not out of spite, but survival. You're not just hurt. You're hollowed, carrying the scar of their not worth it. And the twist? They might not even see it. Brush it off, blame you, move on. But you feel it, heavy and real. Trust gone is connection lost. That's not a bond, that's a breach. Why do they betray? Sometimes it's convenience, truth's hard, promises take work. Sometimes it's selfishness, they pick their ease over your edge. Sometimes it's just them, people too loose with loyalty to hold yours tight. But here's the raw truth. It's not your fault. Their betrayal doesn't measure your value. It mirrors their void. You don't have to fix their flaws, earn their fidelity, or prove you're trustable. You are. Care doesn't crack what you give, it cradles it. A person who values you keeps their word, speaks straight, acts true. Not because it's easy, but because you're worth it. That's not a perk, that's the core. Scan your life. Who's breaking what you built? Promises, truths, trust? Who leaves you patching holes they punched? That pain you feel, it's not failure. It's freedom waking up. Trust is your gift. Priceless, not disposable. You're worth the ones who hold it, whose yes means yes, whose no is clear, whose actions match their oath. Don't cling to the breakers. Step back, see the shatter. Ask, why am I holding this rubble? You deserve more bonds that stand, not stumble. People who guard your faith, not grind it down. That's where care lives, not in their cracks, but in your claim. Let them fall away and rise with the ones who stay true. Binding it together, constant criticism and betrayal of trust. They're twin blades. One cuts your confidence, the other severs your faith. Criticism keeps you small, doubting your light under their shadow. Betrayal breaks your base, leaving you unsteady where you should have stood firm. Together, they scream, you're not enough to them. But here's the turn. That's their story, not yours. You don't have to live in their echo, shrunk by their words, shaken by their stabs. You're the author here, right with the ones who speak life, who hold trust like gold. That's your strength, your space, your truth. Step out of their shadow, away from their shards. Step into your own. That's where you soar. Inconsistent effort, the flicker that fades when you need it most. Imagine this. You're walking a tightrope, life's wobbling beneath you. Maybe a dream's teetering, or the days just feel heavier than they should. You look to someone you count on, expecting a steady hand, not to catch you, just to hold the line. Sometimes they're there, bright, warm, all in with a call, a laugh, a hey, I've got you. But then, when the wind picks up, when you really need them, they're gone. A missed text, a canceled plan, a sorry, busy, that echoes into silence. It's not a one-off. It's a rhythm, on when it's easy, off when it's hard. That's not a fluke. It's a flare. Welcome to the seventh toxic truth. Inconsistent effort isn't just flaky. It's proof you're not their anchor. When care only sparks on their terms, it's not a bond. It's a convenience. Effort is the heartbeat of care. The quiet, steady pulse that says, you matter to me. It's not about grand gestures or Hollywood moments. It's the day in, day out showing up. Texts returned, promises kept, presence when it counts. Relationships don't bloom from a single seed. They grow through tending, a consistent pour of energy, attention, intent. That's the glue. Reliability, the kind that builds trust, deepens roots, holds you firm. But inconsistent effort, that's a flicker. A light that flashes when the sun's out, dims when the storm hits. It's there when it suits them, gone when it doesn't, leaving you grasping at shadows. That's not a foundation, that's a fault line. Let's sketch this out because you've lived it, haven't you? They're golden sometimes, call you up, plan a hangout, make you feel seen. You lean in, trust it, think, this is real. But then the pattern kicks in. You need them, a rough patch, a question, a moment, and they're AWOL. Meant to reply, got caught up, or just nothing. A blank where you needed words. Plans fall through. Excuses stack. Work's crazy. Next time, promise. But next time's the same, hot when it's fun, cold when it's work. You're left holding the rope, reaching, waiting, wondering why it's always you pulling. That's not a miss. That's a memo. You're a priority when it's painless, a ghost when it's not. It's not just the big stuff either. The small cuts sting too. You text something light, how's your day? And it sits unread for hours, days while they're posting elsewhere. You set a coffee date, they bail last minute, no follow-up. Or you're sinking, need a vent, a boost, and they half show. A yeah, that's tough. Then radio silence. It's a dance of almosts, close enough to keep you hooked, far enough to leave you hollow. Effort isn't a sometimes thing. Care doesn't clock out. The steady, not sporadic. A stream, not a sprinkle. When it's inconsistent, it's not just gaps. It's a gap in value. They're saying, I'll show when I feel like it, You're not worth the stretch. What's the toll? 1 flake, you shrug. Life's messy. 2, you excuse, everyone's juggling. But when it's a cycle, on-off, here gone, it wears you down. You stop asking, stop planning, stop expecting. Why bother when the echo's all you get? It's exhausting, carrying a connection solo, chasing a flicker that won't hold. You start doubting. Am I too needy? Too much? That's the twist they don't show, and you're the one feeling less. But flip it. Their inconsistency isn't your load. It's their limit. Effort's the proof of priority. Its absence is the proof of place. You're not top tier, you're a temp, a fill-in when the slot's open. Why do they waver? Sometimes it's ease. They'll give when it's low lift, dip when it's work. Sometimes it's apathy, they don't care enough to lock in. Sometimes it's just them, wired for whims, not roots. But here's the raw deal, care isn't a mood. A person who values you doesn't ride the breeze, they plant their feet. They text back, show up, stay. Not because it's simple, but because you're worth it. Inconsistent effort isn't a busy signal. It's a choice, a maybe later that never lands. That's not a tie, that's a tease. Look at your map. Who's half in? There when it's bright, gone when it's bleak. Who leaves you pulling where they should push? That weight you feel, it's not weakness. It's wake up. Effort's the language of care. Steady speaks love, spotty speaks shrugs. You're not here for maybes. You're worth the always, the every time, the I'm in. Don't chase the half-lights. Step back, see the flicker. Ask, why am I running for this? You deserve more. Bonds that burn bright, not blink out. People who match your move, not make you beg. That's where care grows, not in their gaps, but in your grip. Let them fade and hold space for the steady. That's your strength, claim it. Emotional manipulation. The strings that bind your soul. Now shift the frame. You're sitting with someone, heart open, guard soft. You're real. Sharing fears, joys, the messy bits you trust them with. But something's off. They twist it. Your kindness becomes guilt, your empathy a debt, your trust a tool. I need you, they say, eyes wide. And you jump, overextend, overexplain, overgive. Or they pull back, silence, sulks, until you're scrambling to fix what's not broken. You're off balance, doubting, tethered to their tune. That's not a slip, it's a snare. Welcome to the 8th toxic truth. Emotional manipulation isn't care, it's control. When they use your feelings against you, they're not lifting you, they're leveraging you. Care is a bomb. It nurtures, frees, holds you up. It's a hand that steadies, a voice that soothes, a bond that breathes. True connection lifts both sides, mutual, honest, safe. But emotional manipulation, that's a blade sharp, sly, cutting where you're soft. It's not love or friendship. It's a game, your emotions as pawns, their gain as the prize. They don't cradle your heart. They clutch it, twisting your trust into strings they pull. The selfish, calculated, a play to keep you spinning while they stand firm. That's not a tie. That's a trap, and every tug says, your peace isn't their priority. You're their puppet. Let's draw this clear because you've felt the pull, right? They play the victim. No one gets me like you. And you're hooked, rushing to save, to prove you're there. Your kindness turns to guilt. If you cared, you'd do this. And you bend, stretching past your limits. Or they flip it. Stonewall when you're honest, pout when you're firm, until you're apologizing for nothing, chasing their nod. Maybe it's flattery. You're the only one I trust. To reel you in, then silence to keep you guessing. It's a maze. Every turn a doubt. Every step a what did I do? They don't meet you, they move you, keeping you off kilter for their edge. What's the sting? It's subtle at first. A nudge, a plea, a you're overthinking. But it builds. They exaggerate. I'm falling apart without you. And you're the lifeline, drained to prop them up. They withhold affection answers until you're begging for the warmth they dangle. They spark fights, blame you, twist you, then swoop in as the fix, the hero of their own mess. It's a script, every line designed to tilt the board their way. And the worst, you doubt you. Am I too harsh? Am I wrong? Your instincts blur. Your gut quiets. You're lost in their fog. That's not a misstep. That's their mastery. Why does it sink so deep? Because it's your core they're tugging, your feelings, your faith, your you-ness. Manipulation doesn't just take your time. It takes your trust in yourself. You're a mirror they tilt, reflecting their needs, not your truth. Over time, it's a slow unravel. You question your worth, your read, your right to push back. You might fight it. This feels off. But they spin it. You're dramatic. You owe me. You're not just tired, you're tangled, caught in a web where they're the spider. That's the wound. They don't care for you, they care for control. You're not a partner, you're a piece. What drives it? Sometimes it's need, they lean on your light to dodge their dark. Sometimes it's power, they thrive when you're unsteady. Sometimes it's just them wired to wield, not share. But here's the cut. It's not your load to lift. You don't have to unravel their knots, earn their balance, or dance their steps. You're enough. Care doesn't chain, it cheers. A person who values you lifts your wings, meets your real, honors your no, frees your yes. That's not a perk, that's the pulse. Anything less, and they're showing you they're here to take, not tend. Scan your ground. Who's pulling, guilting you into giving, tilting you into doubt? Who leaves you spinning where you should stand? That churn you feel, it's not fault. It's fire waking up. Your emotions aren't their playthings. You're worth the real, the raw, the rise. Don't let their strings bind you. Step back, see the game. Ask, why am I dancing this dance? You deserve more. Bonds that breathe, not bind. People who hold you up, not hold you down. That's where care thrives, not in their web, but in your will. Cut the threads and walk with the ones who lift. That's your power, seize it. Weaving it together. Inconsistent effort and emotional manipulation. They're two faces of neglect. One starves your roots, the other strangles your wings. Effort that flickers leaves you reaching for a ghost. Half loved, half seen. Manipulation traps you in their maze, half free, half you. Together, they whisper, you're not enough to them. But here's the shift. That's their lens, not your light. You don't have to beg for steady or bow to strings. You're the maker here. Craft with the ones who show up, who set you soaring. Not the ones who dip out or drag down. That's your truth, your turf, your triumph. Step off their stage, out of their script. Step into your own. That's where you shine.